This is Dr. Susan Thrall. I'm now going to demonstrate a query using the group by operator. Before you see the query design screen, and this is a query we've done previously where we've used the aggregate functions of minimum, average, and maximum. And just to recall what we've done, I'll run the query. And you can see when I run it, we're seeing the minimum contract amount of $300, the average contract amount of over $27,000, and the maximum contract amount of $252,000. So when we did this previous query, we aggregated it using the total button, which set up the total row, and we chose minimum, average, and maximum. Now, if you look at the results of the query, it just gives you figures. It doesn't give you by contract number what these figures are for or by city. So we're going to group these by what city these amounts are for. So going back to the design screen, I'm going to add another table to my query design screen. Now, to add another table, I click the Show Table button. I'm going to add customer. Add it, close it, and notice on my customer table I have the customer's address including the city. That's how I want to group these by, is by city. So I'm going to add city to my grid. In fact, I'll put it as the first one. I drag it down, drop it in the first column. It moves everything to the right, and because I have this total row up, I've aggregated it before, I also have the total row, of course, in the city column. In the city column, the total row says group by. Now that's exactly what we want to do. We want to group these contracts by amount, by city. So that's all there is to it. We run the query, and you can see the cities are all grouped together. No one is repeated. That's what the idea of grouping is, to get them all together. And next to each one, we have the minimum contract amount, the average contract amount, and the maximum contract amount for that city. So Battle Creek, the minimum contract amount we had was the $6,500. Well, where was that $300? If you look down, that $300 minimum contract amount was actually for a customer in Lansing. The average contract amount for Battle Creek is $90,000, and the maximum contract amount for Battle Creek was that $252,000 that we've seen. So instead of having one figure in each of the three columns, min, average, max, we're grouping it by city. And all we have to do is keep the group by, have the field that we want to group it in. We could have grouped this by state. We could have grouped it by zip code. We could have possibly grouped it by customer ID if there were multiple customers for various contracts. So just leaving the group by will group these together by the field that the group by is in.